future is full of uncertainty, and an entrepreneurial mindset, I think, is the antidote.
Entrepreneurs are critical to the growth of any economy. Big companies start as little companies, and you need people who are risk takers.
These are the people that don't look at what exists today and how they can get by. They're always looking for what should the future look like and what can I do to shape it.
The Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship provides entrepreneurial programming across the campus at Cal Poly. We serve students in all 6 of the colleges. Both in the classroom, we offer 19 entrepreneurship classes, and on the other end of the spectrum, students can start companies in our Summer Accelerator program.
The Cal Poly student gets so much out of this experience that I wish I had had when I was a student at Cal Poly, which is learning how to fail and being okay with that, and being okay with taking risks and doing new things and really trying to make something happen in an environment where they have a little bit of a safety net with the CIE, but not too much of a safety net, so they actually are pushed to try things that are new.
This program is a real game changer for not only startups, but for young entrepreneurs in empowering us to take our businesses and our ideas to the next level.
Every year at Cal Poly, the demand for entrepreneurial education is going up almost exponentially.
We need help to upgrade our capacity to meet the increasing demand. More space, more facilities, more programs, and more faculty.
This campaign that we're launching is going to give us the resources we need to get there, to have the faculty, the space, and the programs to give our most entrepreneurial students what they need to make their mark on the world.
We've had one heck of a run during our first 10 years, but now is a time where we need to step up. We need to double down. We need to serve the increasing numbers of students and community businesses that need us now more than they ever have.
When I think about my legacy, I think about ways in which I can help the next generation of leaders develop themselves. The problems that CIE students are going to tackle are going to be the problems that are going to address the most important issues of our age. It's a great place to leave a legacy.
The funding and support from this campaign is going to set the CIE up to be the #1 undergraduate entrepreneurship program in the country. But more importantly, it's going to allow us to develop students who are leaders, who are creative problem solvers. They'll go out and they'll genuinely change the world.
Pacific Premier Bank. And we're just like every other bank. Look, there's two people shaking hands. Here's some scenes of people collaborating to show that we are collaborative. There's a person talking on the phone. You've heard it all and seen it all before, right?
Can I help you?
I'm from Pacific Premier Bank, and I'm here to see if we can
rain. We Please come on and grab a seat. Okay. There'll be opportunities to get drinks after the event. Or bring your drinks with you. We're about to start the program. Come on in, grab a seat. Okay, I'm trying to call out people from the bar. Who's over there? Just started. Oh no. Come on in, please grab a seat. We'll be starting any second. We're starting now. We're ready. Good evening. Good evening. Please take a seat. Just start. Okay, welcome to AngelCon 2022. Woo! Woo! Yes, thank you, Carolyn. Okay, thank you all so much for being here tonight. It feels so good to be back in person. We're also hybrid tonight, so thank you to those of you joining us online. We're streaming live online. My name is Judy Mahan. I'm the Economic Development Director of Cal Poly CIE, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. This is our 5th annual AngelCon, and before we jump in, I'm excited to share some updates with you. Over the past 10 years, the CIE has helped launch hundreds of startups on campus through various entrepreneurship programs supporting graduating students. The CIE has also accomplished tremendous work off campus, supporting thousands of local businesses through our incubator program and the Small Business Development Center located at the Hot House downtown. I'm extremely pleased to announce tonight that we've launched 2 new outreach centers, one located in Paso Robles with an incubator program focused on ag tech startups, and one located in Grover Beach with an incubator program focused on aerospace and aeronautics. Both locations will provide on-site SBDC services for the business community. So last year, we provided you with our COVID updates. We had just wrapped up an extremely intense year, heavily focused on helping our local business community obtain access to disaster loans. Our consultant team helped hundreds of businesses access just over $20 million in disaster loan funding. But I also mentioned last June that we were seeing a ramp up in activity from angel groups and venture firms for our tech startups. And this really encouraged us to double down on AngelCon. This year, we're back full throttle, and we have lots of big news to share. But first, how does AngelCon work, and why are we doing this? So every September, we invite local accredited investors who have never before been part of an angel group to invest in our fund. They learn about startup investing and make one annual investment in one regional startup. We meet monthly for 6 months. We hear from brilliant speakers and experts from Silicon Valley who share their best practices for reviewing startup pitches, for doing due diligence, for negotiating deal terms. And in January, we typically have up to 40+ startups apply to be considered by our AngelCon investors. The investors pick their top 12 startups that we run through a pretty grueling process, including a 6-week pitch prep boot camp. Thank you, Lisa. Shout out to Lisa Simon. Out of which 6 startups are selected by our investors for tonight's event. So the purpose of AngelCon is threefold. We train new investors to invest in startups, create access to capital for our startups, and we create this event to showcase some of the most brilliant upcoming entrepreneurs that we have in our region. But we've had a bigger why. Why are we doing this? Our ultimate goal was always to enable the creation of new angel groups, active throughout the year and for years to come. We have collaborated in the past and today still actively collaborate with many existing groups, Slow Seed Ventures, Kern Venture Group, Entrada Ventures, Santa Barbara Angel Alliance, to name a few. But we've always believed our region has the capacity to raise so much more capital locally from new local investors, maximizing opportunities for funding for our startups year-round. So in our 5th year of AngelCon, we are very proud to announce the formation of a new angel group based right here in San Luis Obispo, Central Coast Ventures. Stephen Larson, who participated in AngelCon Fund 4 and 5, has led the effort to create Central Coast Ventures, and Stephen is here tonight. Stephen, can you stand up? Where are you? There he is. Thanks, Stephen. So if anyone here is interested in learning more and becoming involved in Central Coast Ventures, please connect with Stephen. Stephen will be back on stage at the end of the event, so everyone will get a good visual. Thanks for being here tonight, Stephen. Thank you. So looking back, our very first event was in 2018. We started with 20 investors and barely raised $100,000. Big shout out to Bert Forbes, local investor. Bert wrote that very last check that we needed. We actually lost our investment in the winning startup that year. The company dissolved a few years later. But one of our finalists that year, Mason, a startup creating revolutionary animal vaccines, I'm proud to announce is closing this month a $12 million round of funding. Woo! Congratulations, Mason. Each year, on average, our top 6 startups raise over $2 million in capital funding within the first 12 months after this event. Mason is raising their $12 million round 4 years after they participated in their very first event. So we started with $100,000 in the fund our first and second year. The 3rd year, we raised $120,000. Last year, we raised a record-breaking $145,000 that was invested in Tallyfor. You'll hear an update from Tallyfor tonight. And our last 3 winners, Dioro Devices, Atlas Alpha, and Tallyfor, all growing and scaling. All 3 are currently raising $1 million plus new rounds of funding and doing really well. So we've got a good track record. This year, we had 28 investors on board. Investors, those of you who are here tonight, can you please all stand up, please? Carolyn, Patrick, Jolie, I see you guys. Please stand up. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. So this group, as of 48 hours ago, had raised $160,000. And within the last 48 hours, they rallied, and I'm incredibly pleased to announce that they have raised a grand total of $205,000. Thank you so much. So our investors are an amazing group of people. They've been working diligently over the past 4 months to evaluate our top 6 finalists tonight. And we couldn't do any of this without our sponsors. So thank you to our presenting sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank, and our supporting sponsors and partners. We could not accomplish any of this without you. This event is an opportunity for us to showcase Central California as the entrepreneurship hub that it has truly become for startups in tech and innovation. Thank you all for supporting these phenomenal entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. So, some admin. Before our top 6 finalists start their pitches, I wanted to go over a few ways our virtual attendees, and actually everyone here in the room, there are different ways in which you can participate tonight. For everyone joining us on YouTube, please use the chat. It's located on the right side of your screen. Tell us who you are, where you're joining us from, and feel free to give shout outs to the finalists. Tonight, our investor group will be selecting the winner of AngelCon 2022, but we're also inviting all of you to vote for your favorite startup that will receive the Audience Choice Award. Voting will open after all the startups have pitched, and only those of you who registered and provided a unique email address will be able to participate. Not only can you vote, but all of you can donate to the GoFundMe campaign to support the startup that will win the Audience Choice Award. Thank you to Pacific Premier Bank for sponsoring the GoFundMe campaign. Anyone can donate to the campaign to support our contestants. Instructions on how to donate are up on your screen online. And in person, for the in-person attendees, you'll find on the handouts that we gave, there's a QR code that gives you all the instructions on how to vote and how to donate. We're currently at $100. Last year, our audience raised $1,000, so help us beat that amount tonight. Thank you. Virtual attendees, you can find all the event information and links to everything we just mentioned in the YouTube event description. Now that the logistics are taken care of, we're excited to present our very first startup tonight, Novocuff. Please welcome Amy Degenkolb.
Thank you for that introduction, Judy. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming this evening in person and virtually. My name is Amelia Degenkolb. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Novocuff. Amongst us this evening is my co-founder, Donald Lee. Donald is our CTO. Thanks, Donald. He's also the father of twin girls, born premature at 24 weeks. Who were airlifted to Stanford Hospital and spent the first 6 months of their lives in the neonatal intensive care unit. When Donald told me the story about his twins, who are almost 3 now, and the lack of treatment options that he and his wife had to prevent the prematurity, I quickly came to the same conclusion that he had come to during those long months in the hospital. There had to be a better way. We are the co-founders of Novocuff, and we're working to prevent infant mortality caused by preterm birth. Preterm birth is the leading cause of infant morbidities and mortalities, leading to over 1 million deaths worldwide. There are approximately 360,000 preterm births in the United States and about 1 million in the EU each year. That just gives you a small percentage in the globe. This condition accounts for about 50% of all long-term neurologic impairment in children and 75% of neonatal deaths. In addition to the large emotional burden, it's a problem that costs $26 billion in the United States each year. This leads to 47% of all hospitalization costs for infants. For parents who are able to take their newborns home, like Donald and his wife were, they're often burdened with large amounts of take-home debt, upwards of 6 figures. Now, what if I told you that 75% of these deaths could be prevented by simply delaying labor? A short cervix is a powerful indicator for preterm birth, being insufficient to maintain an adequate barrier between the fetus and potential infection. You can see in the image on the right that the cervix is shortened enough it's no longer able to stay closed, allowing that potential infection to ascend into the uterus, thus triggering preterm birth. For patients who are diagnosed with a short cervix, they're often prescribed progesterone or even bed rest, and although these treatment options are known to be minimally effective or even contraindicated due to the risk of blood clots, they're still the only non-surgical options that physicians have to offer. If further treatment is indicated, a surgeon will perform a cerclage. Now this is where they sew the cervix closed, literally. Okay, so for this, it's not only costly and invasive and painful, it also requires access to an operating room, so it's not available everywhere. In addition, for For patients who have twin pregnancies, it's actually contraindicated. It can increase the risk of preterm birth, leaving few treatment options for these patients. There's an obvious treatment gap here that we think we can really benefit from, like not we, but women, families, and physicians in order to help treat their patients. So this is where we come in. The Novocuff solution allows for variable force to be applied around the cervix in order to close it, while separate lower cuffs allow for position adjustment. The anatomical design facilitates ease of placement during a standard office visit. This is a non-surgical procedure that would allow for better support to the cervix, decrease patient pain or suffering, and then also thousands of dollars less than a cerclage. This is a short video of one of our prototypes here where the cervical cuff is being inflated and deflated. This is a good demonstration of how that you can change the device throughout pregnancy. The thing that makes us really unique is that we have a device, we've designed a device that's dynamic, and it allows for variable pressures to be applied around the cervix. So once the physician puts it in, at each subsequent visit, they can adjust it as needed, making it customizable to the patient. There's nothing on the market that does this, and we filed 2 provisional patents to secure our intellectual property. Research has shown that delaying birth by just 3 weeks can drastically improve health outcomes for newborns. We can increase survival rates by 64%. We can decrease risk of neurodevelopmental impairment by 44%. And we can decrease the risk of cerebral palsy by 15%, just to name a few. In addition, it leads to an average cost savings of about $100,000. What's really important to understand, you guys, is that this is a largely untapped sector of the health industry, ready for some majorly disruptive innovation. This puts Novocuff in a great position to make really big changes, and we're just the team to do it. I'll show you why. Our team is composed of technical co-founders, myself, Amelia Degenkolb, as CEO, and Donald Lee as CTO. Donald has expertise in silicone medical device manufacturing. He's also the father of those twins born premature at 24 weeks, which led to his initial idea of the Novocuff device. I bring expertise in maternal health device development, and I was the first employee and eventual lead engineer and clinical trainer at Alydia Health, which had a smaller market size and was recently acquired for $240 million. We have a growing advisory board with expertise in project management, maternal fetal medicine, medical innovation, manufacturing, and business. So our potential competition out there is the current surgical standard of care, the cerclage. You guys know how I feel about this now. As well as 2 early-stage startups. One of them is based here in the US at an academic institution, and the other one is based out of Israel. Neither of these devices are in clinical trials or address the need for adjustability after placement. Our competitive advantage is that we're customizable throughout pregnancy. We really allow the physicians and the patients to have the correct fit as their anatomy is changing, as the physiology is changing. We've spoken with over 50 specialists and OBGYNs in the field, and we have a really rapidly growing support network for the Novocuff design. For our regulatory pathway, we'll pursue the Class 2 de novo designation. We're working with the regulatory specialist to pursue the expedited breakthrough device pathway, and we'll do a US clinical trial to support our FDA application, and we'll utilize that same data to support CE marks so we can get sales in Europe. We're currently raising $1.8 million on a SAFE, which will support our preclinical development. Over the next 24 months, we'll use those funds to continue to secure our intellectual property, do bench studies to fine-tune our design, have early FDA engagement, and have a first manufacturing order with an ISO-certified manufacturer. We'll then do our preclinical testing, our clinical trial and package design, and hire the right team for our clinical and marketing efforts. We'll do another fundraising round late 2023, and this will support a big US clinical trial, as well as our submission in through the FDA and early commercialization, which we predict to be the end of 2026. Novocuff already has strong relationships with OB specialists, with key opinion leaders in the field. These specialists and these opinion leaders have been helping with the Novocuff design as far as advising on the design and the clinical application. And they'll also help us with our market strategy as far as getting strategic clinical trial sites, publishing the results of our clinical trial into well-respected medical journals such as the Green Journal, and to represent the Novocuff design at targeted medical conferences. As far as our sales model, our initial goal would be to utilize those early clinical trial sites for early direct sales, and then we'll plan on partnering with a larger partners such as Cooper Surgical, Johnson & Johnson, and so on and so forth for our favorable distribution, but also an eventual favorable acquisition opportunity. Given the cost-benefit analysis of preterm birth, we have an average selling price of $750. This price point is both affordable for health institutions, large and small, but also profitable for Novocuff. And given that this would be the first FDA device approved and indicated to prevent preterm birth, we predict a rapid growth in sales once news of the clinical results spread. So here at Novocuff, we believe we can drastically improve health outcomes while decreasing the gross expenditures caused by preterm birth. We invite you to join us in this goal by participating in our fundraising ask of $1.8 million, and this would fund our 24-month runway where we would secure intellectual property, do more prototype testing and fine-tuning that design, our FDA meetings, hiring the right team to support the design and the clinical trial. We'd get our first manufacturing run, and we would do all of our preclinical testing. Thank you for joining us in Better Health Through Innovation, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thanks, Judy. Thank you.
Great pitch, Amy. Thank you. Oh.
Are you not on? I didn't touch it.
Sorry about that. So now is the time to thank one of our sponsors, our event sponsors, Entrada Ventures. Thank you so much for sponsoring the event. Next up, we have Jim Kogan, founder and CEO of Acrecloud. Jim, come on up.
Thank you, Judy. Hi, everyone. As Judy mentioned, my name is Jim Kogan, and I am the Chief Operating Officer for Acrecloud. Acrecloud is a software-as-a-service company that provides farm management software products for farmers and farm labor contractors. We started as part of another company, and we're spinning this farm management software platform out to create this new company, but we've been using the platform for 6 years now. And we developed it as a tool on farm, and through that development, we've started with creating work orders, and we've evolved it to track all things that happen on a farm. We provide auditing services and other labor-related services. We have 3,000 daily users and 3 million acres of ag land that we are currently managing right now. 3 million acres of ag land in the Central Valley, which has potential for 27 million acres of ag land. But we've used this platform to really identify some of the problems that modern farmers face. And so I want to tell you about one of those problems. It has to do with farm labor. So farm laborers can work for multiple different farmers across multiple different farm labor contractors. And the current system of time cards and antiquated administrative processes really makes it difficult to track their pay. And they wind up getting paid late or not paid at all. And the challenge that creates for them is that this is one of the most vulnerable populations of workers and one of the most critical populations for workers for helping to ensure domestic food security. And the state of California said this is a big problem and we need to help solve it. And so the state of California did what the state of California always does and added more regulation. And so now, if you are a farmer, you are equally liable with farm labor contractors for making sure that people get paid what they're owed, which is good, but there are no tools in place to make that happen until now. So through Acrecloud, we are launching AcrePay, which is a solution that will reduce the administrative costs from 6% of payroll to 2%, or a 67% reduction. We do this by giving each worker a integrated time card / bank card. So they run that when they go on farm. Their tasks are geofenced to make sure that the work that they have been brought in to do is being done. And we provide direct payment to farm workers. We're going to start that with having individual checks. Like right now, if you're a farm worker, you might work one day in Coalinga and another day in Fresno, and your checks are going to be in Fresno and Coalinga. And with gas prices the way they are today, you might use up all of one check going from one area to get to the other. But we'll provide direct payment to those farm workers. Target market for this is pretty large. In the Central Valley alone, we're looking at $500 million, plus an additional $1 billion in specialty payments, because as soon as we get payroll down on the farm, we can do all sorts of payments across the farm. Nationwide, just on farm work, we're looking at $34 billion a year. And again, remember, we're charging 2% of payroll. So this is a mock-up of the card. We know that that technology works because we actually used it during the harvest last year. So we tracked 84 employees across a number of farms. We had dummy checks printed for all of them, and there were no errors. Through the existing platform, we have access to 8,500 employees that we'll be doing another beta test with coming up. This has caught the interest of workers' compensation insurance companies, because they use data that is self-reported by farm labor contractors to create their risk profiles. And as you might imagine, that data is not as reliable as these insurance companies would like. And so they've come to us and said, if this works, we will make sure that our farm labor contractors are on your platform. As we're looking at our possible competitors, no one is really doing everything that Acrecloud is, but I wanted to bring up two that we've seen. The first, Field Clock, has great technology that they utilize to actually capture time on farm, and that's really their focus. We like their technology so much that we're going to partner with them, and we're going to become one of their biggest customers and white label their technology. So from a farmer standpoint, it'll all be under the Acrecloud umbrella. PickTrace is another company that does similar stuff to what we do, but with two important differentiators. The first is that they go on farm and they make everybody change to exactly their system. Our system will work with existing payroll systems so that farmers don't have to change everything. And I don't have to tell you that once you create, the more you change, the more barriers to adoption that you create. The second thing is that they don't really understand the cultural norms on a farm. And in so doing, they're going to have a hard time being able to really get that adoption from the people who they need it from. I will say they are a little further ahead in funding than we are, but I like to say that they're the Samuel Pierpont Langley to our Wright brothers. And if you're like, who on earth is Pierpont Langley? Exactly. So as we look at our go-to-market strategy, we are working with Harris Ranch. And Harris Ranch, for those of you who know ag in the Central Valley, is a thought leader. Like, they are one of the early adopters of technology. So as goes Harris, so goes the Central Valley. Newfront Insurance has reached out to us and said, hey, we want to do a letter of intent. We've got $100 million a year in payroll that we're going to be covering. And so if you do that, if you are able to launch in January of next year, we will be able to get you this customer base, which will mean $2 million in revenue to us. We'll work through our existing 3,000 users on the platform. And then, of course, Field Clock, since we're partnering with them, they'll be happy to have us work with their customers, which means that our revenue and earnings picture is pretty attractive. We'll be profitable by next year. Because it's a software as a service company, our expenses are low, and that provides this strong year-over-year growth. As we look at the road ahead, we're going to be hiring engineering support after we get investment from some of you lovely people. And we'll be bringing that engineering support to build out the rest of the program. We'll complete that letter of intent with Newfront Insurance and complete this angel round of funding to get to that launch in the first quarter of next year. We'll be hiring a vice president of sales so that we can really bolster the program and the customer base for Acrecloud. This is the team that's going to do it. Our chief executive officer is Elias Cabrera. Elias is a sixth-generation Berkeley Masters educated farmer. My name is Jim Cogan, of course. I'm the Chief Operating Officer, and I'm a Silicon Valley refugee to the Central Valley, or the Central Coast now. And I spent 20 years working in the public and private sectors in Silicon Valley with a lot of large and small innovation companies. Victor Lahr is our Chief Technology Officer. Victor is an analyst over at UC Merced and is the architect of Acrecloud and AcrePay. And then George Castillo is our Chief Creative Officer, and he's responsible for all of the beautiful slides and took all of the pictures except for our headshots. He wanted me to make sure he's not responsible for some of those. We've got some great investors. Chris Wayne is a good friend of mine and Managing Director of Web Platforms over at Verizon. William Bordeaux is this giant in the Central Valley as a VP over at Harris. And then Stephen Neal is an IP attorney from Silicon Valley who's helping us with trademarks and any other potential IP needs that we have. This is an amazing investment opportunity for investors because it is the first time that anyone has been able to invest in the existing Acrecloud platform, which I am going to tell you right now will be the undisputed source for ag data in the United States in the next 5 to 10 years. We're raising this initial $500,000 as our runway for the next year. We'll do that through a convertible note or a SAFE agreement, and we expect the possibility of an acquisition or an IPO in the next 5 to 6 years. With that, if you have any questions, please check out Acrecloud at acrecloud.ag, or feel free to email me or Elias at our first names at acre.ag. With that, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, great job. Thank you, Jim. So remember, tonight's event is hosted by the Cal Poly CIE Small Business Development Center. We provide free business consulting and training services to any entrepreneur or business owner in San Luis Obispo County. Our next hybrid event is Coffee and Conversation on May 19th. We will have a panel of AngelCon investors share the reasons why they chose the winner and share their stories about their AngelCon experience. So now let's hear from L.R. Fox, CEO of Next Life Sciences. Welcome, Fox. Are you ready? Thanks. Oh, sorry.
Growing up in the foster care system, I remember a very particular moment, sitting on a couch in a group home, when I had this realization that changed the course of my life forever. So much of the world's suffering, the poverty, the child abuse, so much of it could be solved with one simple solution. If people could choose when and if to have a child. And this is why The Economist identified female birth control as the #1 innovation of the 20th century. And so I'm here to share with you what is the leading and what will become the greatest innovation of the 21st century, male birth control. But why is that? Well, 1 in 4 sexually active men in the United States have had an unintended pregnancy. When we look at this, we look at the United Nations numbers, looking at it a slightly different way. 50% of all pregnancies are unplanned. But why is that? Well, that's because birth control has ignored half of the population, men. Well, 80% of men in a recent survey said they'd be willing to try new forms of contraception. And they're already spending $35 billion on male contraception in the United States each year alone. Well, what are they spending it on? Well, we only have 2 options, condoms and vasectomies. And let's be real, statistically we know people don't like condoms. And when they do use them, they have a high failure rate. Vasectomies, well, they aren't designed for reversibility, so young men simply aren't getting them. We do not have any effective male birth control options. That is until now. At Next Life Sciences, we are bringing to the world long-lasting, reversible male birth control with a simple 10-minute pain-free procedure that gives you 10 years of thought-free protection that's easily reversible at any time. Now, this has been in development for over 10 years, and we have shown absolutely no notable side effects. No hormones, no pills, no rubbers, safe, simple, effective birth control. So let's see how this works. But first we have to understand a little bit about the male reproductive system. So sperm is produced in the testes. It then travels out a little tube known as the vas deferens, out the urethra, and into the world. Now, vasectomies work by snipping that tube. Now imagine the complex microsurgery required to reconnect it. But that's where we come in. Instead, we have a simple hydrogel injection right into the vas deferens that fills that with a very simple, effective, flexible filter that filters out the sperm. The sperm can't pass through. It'll sit there for about 10 years, and you can flush it out and reverse it at any time with another simple 10-minute pain-free procedure. That's of sodium bicarbonate. Quick, simple, painless. Now, as we look, this is groundbreaking technology, and we've had over 1,000 articles written about our technology. The fact is, the world is eagerly awaiting our technology to launch and come to market. And it's a massive market. We already have 50,000 people on our waiting list and our interest list who've expressed interest in our technology. There's over 17 million men in a recent survey that said that they are actively seeking alternative contraceptives. The current market we talked about is over 35 billion. We expect that to grow to 139 billion based off recent studies showing that if there is a safe, effective, reversible, long-acting male birth control, more men will adopt this technology. And it's not just in the United States. And that's why we've filed patents and patents issued that are protecting us around the world in these key markets. And we're going to be very focused as we roll this out, looking at the fact that over 31 million young men are in committed relationships in the United States with female partners. For the first time ever, women and men will be able to join together with thoughtful birth control. Women will not have to carry the burden of birth control alone. And we're rolling this out to make it the default, looking at this as a standard of care. If you don't want to have a child, if you don't want to get someone pregnant, great, don't. The world needs safe, effective male birth control, and they need it in a scalable, efficient way. And so that's why we're capitalizing on the existing demand by offering an out-of-pocket payment solution, while at the same time working with insurance, both public and private, to ensure coverage, because this will enable the scalable coverage. We're rolling that out initially in the United States, but the demand we see around the world for this technology. We have a team of globally recognized experts executing on this mission. As a serial entrepreneur who most recently founded White Fox and raised over $30 million, my expertise is in pioneering highly regulated industries. We have a passionate team that's working every single day to bring this to the market. We have expertise and broad set of experiencing taking companies from seed all the way through exit with over 25 M&A transactions between us. And with over a dozen contraceptive companies in this space, with over $20 billion in market, we believe there's incredible market opportunity for an exit either through an M&A transaction or through an IPO. And right now, we are raising $50,000 in our seed round. With this money, we're looking for the right partners to help bring this product to market. We're going to continue to build a world-class team that will allow us to achieve FDA approval for testing and at the same time ensure that we are providing scalable access to this technology. After investing over $50 billion globally, Bill Gates came to the startling conclusion. Contraceptives are one of the greatest life-saving innovations in history. The greatest life-saving innovation in history. And so I invite you to join with us as we impact billions of lives. Thank you so much.
Sorry. Thanks, Fox. Okay, thank you. Great job. And thanks again to our event sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank. Thank you so much. We now are introducing Anna Baytosh with ARTIFEX. Please come on stage.
Hi everybody, my name's Anna Baytosh. I'm a co-founder and chief operating officer of ARTIFEX Technologies, where we are reimagining the way that 3D space is documented. We're creating solutions for those who visualize the built environment within construction, and our research has shown us the complex and common bottleneck of the as-built drawing process for these professionals. And we as a team have set out to expedite that. When an architect steps on site to do an as-built drawing of a 2,000 square foot house, let's say for your typical bathroom remodel or home renovation, they start by taking 2 hours worth of measurements with standard tools like a laser distance measurer or a standard measuring tape. And our surveys of architects tell us that this time is actually really important for them to understand the space before they start designing. But then they go back to the office and they spend about 10 hours translating these measurements into CAD. This is a time-consuming bottleneck, a low revenue producer, it's often prone to human error, and there is a lack of enjoyment. Architects would rather be designing with this time and not drawing and redrawing buildings they've been hired to recreate anyway. That's why we're developing a software that will expedite this process. And the first product we're releasing to mobilize this software is the AFX 10. It's the first handheld, LiDAR-enabled, smart laser distance measurer that fits seamlessly into an architect's workflow. We see it as a direct replacement for a tool that's likely already in their toolbox that they know how to use, and it really fits into their workflow, as I said. We're well positioned within the construction industry, not only because it is booming right now, but because they need all the automation they can get. There's no lack of project demand, with the home renovations industry growing in 2020 to $420 billion in worth. And we have investors on our side. Construction technology investment tripled from 2020 to 2021 to $4.5 billion. And we're confident about the future. Global Smart City project revenue is projected to hit $241 billion by 2025. We're staying focused on architects as a primary market, but we've also confirmed secondary and tertiary markets of contractors and interior designers. To give you an idea of a theoretical 100% adoption at our smallest package pricing, we're staying focused in California here, and we're scaling to a total addressable market, and to give you an idea of that, that would be $33 billion in annual recurring revenue, over 200 million professionals. Despite this exciting market size, we're staying focused on the 70 architects in the San Luis Obispo area. This is Ryan Brockett. He's kind of like our perfect archetype. He runs a small practice here on the Central Coast. He has an incentive to increase his drawing efficiency, and he focuses on home renovations and additions. This is how it will work. An architect will take an AFX 10 to a job site and measure the space the same way they normally would. The device will pick up relevant metadata and sort the measurements as they move through the space. And by the time they get back to their office, they can plug the AFX 10 into their computer, and CAD-ready, editable floor plans will be ready for them to go on to the next phase of design. We're currently working with a patent attorney to file a provisional patent application by the end of this year so that this intellectual property is defensible. We've brought architects along the way every step in our research and development, and we truly consider them as development partners. Last summer, we asked 10 early adopters to evaluate our hardware, so they gave us feedback on design, usability, and functionality. Now, we just recently launched our second round of alpha, so 30 early adopters are going to help us collect data. We've turned on the data loggers on the devices, and we're taking them through a workflow experiment. And this allows us to collect data on their user behavior and overlay that on top of our novel algorithms and machine learning approaches that we've created in our lab environment. And we're really excited for the future. We're connected with the Plug and Play Tech Center in Silicon Valley, and we're really looking forward to plugging into their network of corporate partners that deal in construction technology, spatial data, and Internet of Things. We're selling 200 units next year as beta, and we're proposing a one-time hardware cost of $199. This is sold at essentially at cost because the value is truly in our software. We'll be charging a software as a service fee, scaling based on drawings per month, and we believe this B2B approach is the best way to integrate our architects early because they can choose their package based on their project volume and what they need. The existing players in the space are great. In the top left-hand corner, we have Bosch and DeWalt, the typical tools that I explained on slide 2. They fit really well into an architect's workflow, but there's no automation available. Then you see in the bottom right-hand corner, Matterport and Trimble. These are 3D scanners. They're very impressive. They take millions of data points of the environment, but architects complain about using this output. They end up having to trace over images, and it doesn't end up saving them that much time anyway. That's why you see ARTIFEX in the top right-hand corner, because we marry the tools that architects prefer to use with the modern technology that 3D scanners can bring. And we're the right team to do it. This is Elijah Williams. He's my co-founder and CEO. He heads technical vision and engineering strategy. And then we have Kamal Mehta. He's our technology developer. He helps build and visualize our software. And I'm Anna Batosh. I'm a co-founder and chief operating officer. I head day-to-day operations, business plan implementation, and marketing and partnership strategy. We've got a great group of consultants that help us with quantitative analysis, customer development, architectural drawing, and technology development. And also a great group of advisors that help us with SaaS growth, tech mergers and acquisitions, architecture, and engineering moving forward as we grow. As I said earlier, we're starting by selling 200 units in 2023 and scaling to a sale of 2,000 units in 2024. And to give you an idea of the market size, that's about 10% of the architecture market here in California. Then we're planning to scale to 12,000 units by 2026, and this will project a $9.6 million revenue at this time. Here are some recent exits within construction. We have Matterport, the 3D scanning hardware software company I mentioned earlier, acquiring Enview earlier this year. And then we have Bosch, the tool engineering firm, acquiring Altatech also earlier this year. And then Procore, the recently IPO'd construction software company acquiring Avata Intelligence in 2020. It's important to note that all three of these companies deal in spatial data or automation. So this shows us that not only is it where construction is headed, but key players in this space are actively investing in small companies like ours. Since closing our first round of pre-seed investment in December, we have significantly de-risked both our market and our technology. We're now ready to scale into a bigger raise of $550K to build a team to hit these 3 milestones. We plan to expand our software platform and gain 10 paying customers. Then we're adding 200 customers to a hardware pre-order list for the AFX 10 to gear up for those sales. And finally, signing a distribution deal with a manufacturer so that we can scale into the projections you saw on the last few slides. Whether you're interested in investing or advising in building technologies, or if you're an architect who'd like to give us feedback, we would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Great job. Thanks, Anna. Next up, we have Bob Lansdorp, CEO of Milo Sensors.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Lansdorp, the CEO of Milo Sensors. Every year, alcohol abuse destroys tens of thousands or tens of millions of families in the United States. So it's a really devastating problem. I'm going to be telling you about one such story and explain how our technology aims to make a real positive difference. So this is Alicia. She's struggled her whole life with drinking alcohol and 3 months ago went through a painful divorce. Last month, the stress and anxiety of that divorce led her to start drinking again, and she made the terrible decision to get behind the wheel of a car after drinking. She was arrested for a DUI, and basically at this point, her only options were jail or to wear one of these ankle bracelets that monitor alcohol. So these devices, they're stigmatizing. She doesn't want to be seen wearing one of these. They're noisy. Every 30 minutes, the pumps and valves will click to collect a sample, which will keep her awake in the middle of the night, and will also, in a social setting, cause her stigma because she'll have to pretend it's her cell phone. They're not real time, so she'll only get a report every few days or a week. So if the sensor has any problems, which customers have told us these ankle bracelets have problems, she will only get a report a week later. So she really wants that data in real time so she can clear her name if there's any problems. And they're bulky, so nobody wants to be seen wearing one. They're not comfortable, but more distressingly, we've had customers send photos of their bleeding and swollen ankles as a result of wearing this technology. So given the massive problem in the United States associated with alcohol, excessive alcohol consumption, and the terrible technology on the market that's meeting this need, we thought there's got to be a better way, and we created the ION wearable. So ION is a non-invasive, discrete wearable that measures alcohol continuously. It's looks like a fitness tracker, so overcomes the stigma of the existing ankle bracelets. It's connected through a smartphone app, so at any time you can see your data, and you can send a report at the click of a button, so no more waiting a week. And you can share that data with your sponsor, your spouse, attorney, judge. Many of our customers are sharing their data with their parole officers today, and with their coaches, friends, and family as well, to help rebuild trust through our connected support and accountability. So how it works is our patented technology. I like to say we're doing for alcohol what continuous glucose monitors have done for diabetes. And we've got 2 granted US patents, 3 more pending. And the core of our technology is this disposable enzymatic sensor cartridge that combines the benefits of continuous glucose monitors together with ankle bracelets to create a completely new technology unlike anything the world has seen. So every year, $249 billion are lost in the United States due to the economic costs of alcohol abuse. It's kind of an elephant in the room in society, and $24 billion of that is alcohol-related criminal justice. We've identified a niche within that segment in the DUI testing market of a $3 billion niche where we're starting. So our business model for our ION wearable subscriptions is a $299 per month recurring revenue subscription. It costs us around $200 to acquire a customer through digital ads and the initial hardware. And with a 68% gross margin target, you can see that there's a lot of money to be made, $2,200 per year per customer in gross profit. But more importantly, a lot of lives to be changed for the better because the existing technology is woefully inadequate. So in the next 4 years, we aim to get to $125 million in revenue. We aim to do that by being profitable in year 1. In November of this past year, we launched a small test market campaign. We spent $2,500 on digital ads. Those digital ads allowed us to get a 3 times return on ad spend with $8,000 in sales in December. Since that time, we've had recurring revenue and customers wearing the product for multiple months at a time. So we've had one customer has been wearing our product for 4 months. We now have 6 active customers, 20 more on the wait list. So what we aim to do is to raise a small seed round to fulfill the backlog of orders we have today. So we're really excited that we hit product market fit and we have recurring revenue in our initial beachhead market. So what are our customers saying? One of our customers, Alicia, who I showed at the beginning of the talk, she wrote in and said, I need to show the court that I'm not drinking so I can have more time with my kids. So for her, ION really is a need-to-have product, not a want-to-have product. Another one of our customers wrote in and said, I had a call with my parole officer yesterday, and in her words, everything looks good. I'm very happy with this. So for us, this was great validation that not only are we improving lives for the people wearing the product, but we're starting to get that validation in the court system that's so important. Another one of our customers is somebody that runs a monitoring agency. So she has dozens of clients that are wearing alcohol monitors, and she's tied to dozens of different court systems. And she says, I've had some of my clients inquire into the status of your monitor. There's a strong demand for a new monitor in my area. I can get that business. So not only is she a customer today, but she's probably going to become a strategic partner for us to help break into the court systems and get more customers through one referral, which is her. Our team is heavy in engineering expertise. Rashad is our test engineer. Peter is our research scientist. Archika is in the crowd. She's our mechanical engineer. And we're supported by some great consulting partners as well. That includes Traffic, the digital marketing agency that did our test market campaign. We We also have a great board of advisors with a track record of investor returns. So as of this week, Marcus just joined our board. He's a director at Pasadena Angels, also the CEO of Ocular Data Systems. Greg, he's an operating partner at Entrada, who's coincidentally a sponsor of this event. He co-founded and led his company Orion to a $165 million acquisition. On our board of advisors includes John Bird, who's the founder and CEO of Dexcom, which is the world leader in continuous glucose monitoring patches. So at Milo Sensors, we want to follow in the footsteps of Dexcom. They're now a $40 billion public company. Dennis Houghton, he's in the audience actually. He is a commercial advisor for us. He's also got a great experience track record in biz dev, and he's advising us. We've raised $1 million in angel rounds to date. That's got us to where we are today. And we've got $2.3 million in NIH grant funding, which is funding our current development. And all this grant funding is terrific because it's allowed us to create a totally new product unlike anything the world has seen before. But for many of you that don't know, NIH grants have a dirty secret, and that is they don't allow for any marketing, sales, or order fulfillment. So what we want to do is complement the grant funding we have with a $300,000 seed round to start really pushing down our cost of goods and getting the product out to the backlog of orders we have today. So with our $300,000 seed round, what we aim to do is hit 60% gross margins, and we're going to do that through investing $110,000 in tooling, injection molding, and roll-to-roll processes to drive down our costs. Fulfillment, so fulfill the backlog of orders we have today, and hit a goal of 280 subscriptions, which would get us to $1 million of annual recurring revenue. Also invest additional funds into marketing through the company we've already worked with and additional channels to drive additional sales beyond the backlog we have. So this year, what we want to do is test our B2C scalability, continue with Google Ads just as we have successfully in November with the marketing agency that's helped us get there. And then later this year, what we want to do is grow, so to 280 active customers. To do that, we want to hire a head of marketing who's going to help us with a referral campaign and a social campaign. Then later in 2023, what we want to do is integrate with the courts more intensely. So hire a B2B sales rep, partnering with more monitoring agencies like the one that's already a customer today. There are hundreds in the United States that we can work with. And start a DUI attorney referral program. So each DUI attorney might see dozens of clients every single month. So one attorney on our side could potentially be a referral source for us and be a mutually beneficial partnership for their clients as well. And then later in 2024, what we want to do is enter into an exclusive license agreement in the criminal justice space. So we've already received $15,000 of licensing interest from a major player in the criminal justice space, and we want to capitalize on that for the maximum possible benefit to our shareholders. There are multiple potential exits for our company. That includes an IPO, of course. Dexcom is a relevant data point. They went IPO in 2005 at a $500 million valuation. They were pre-revenue when they did that. So I like to think in many ways we're already ahead of that $500 million IPO. Along the way to an IPO, there are, of course, off-ramps for us. That includes acquisition and licensing. We're already in discussions with Samsung for a paid pilot. Some relevant data points are BI. I actually met somebody today that has been involved with BI. They were acquired for $415 million in the criminal justice space. They make a GPS ankle bracelet, among other things. And Fitbit, we all know they were acquired for $2.1 billion by Alphabet, the Google parent company. Also within the licensing track, we've received $15,000 of licensing interest. We haven't given away any rights yet. That was for a seat at the table. And we aim to capitalize on that traction. So one relevant licensing point is SoberLink, is a camera-based breathalyzer system. So breathalyzer with a camera on it. They licensed their technology for $24 million into the criminal justice system and continued as SoberLink Healthcare. Now, I think Milo Sensors can do a lot better than $24 million with our sufficiently more advanced technology, but it just gives you an idea of what's possible, and that could be done in the next 18 months. In conclusion, we want to help tens of millions of families rebuild with our connected support and accountability with Ion Wearable. If you're interested, please vote for us to win AngelCon 2022, and I'd be happy to talk to you after. Thanks very much.
So it takes a sec. Yeah, there we go. Shameless plug. Next slide. A large core of the CIE and SBDC staff, as well as a number of the startups that you are seeing here tonight, work in downtown SLO at the CIE Hot House. It's an awesome 15,000 square foot space where we offer co-working and free coffee. So if you're interested in flexible workspace and would like to rent a desk at the Hot House, please visit the CIE website or contact us for more information. So after that, last but not least, is Adam Steger, CEO and founder of TRIC Robotics. Adam, come on up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Steger, the founder and CEO of TRIC Robotics, and we're helping farmers control pest and disease using ultraviolet light in place of chemical pesticides. Farmers using our solution have a natural and reliable way of increasing their profitability. Now, if we look at what farmers are doing today, we see they spend about $84 billion every year in a fight against pests and disease. And they're losing that fight because the pests are becoming more and more resistant to these chemicals that we're using to control them. And that isn't just a problem for the farmer and their yield, it's also a problem for our food supply. And the point is, what we're doing now isn't working. The spraying's expensive, it complicates field management, and quite frankly, if there's a better way, it's environmentally irresponsible. Also, on the other side, the consumers like you and me, well, we are more educated these days around how we're spraying our food, so we're demanding and willing to pay more for organic. And honestly, farmers want to farm organically, but it's hard. Organic methods are very difficult in the field. There's lots of labor. It's very unreliable. It's hard to make a profit. Now, the solution to this problem is light. And it took our collaborators at the USDA about 10 years to figure out how to use light that comes naturally from our sun to control these pests. And the light is known as ultraviolet light. It's invisible to humans and it's normally blocked by our atmosphere. But by recreating this light on Earth, we have a natural and resistance-free pest control that's more effective than chemical pesticides. Okay, what's the caveat? Of course there's a caveat. The light can also hurt the plants. And that's why our team at TRIC Robotics has spent the past 2 years figuring out how to use automation to harness this power in a way that can control the pest and not damage the plants. And you can think of our ultra-organic pest control system like a giant Roomba. It carries lights up and down the rows to kill the pests. And as you can tell, these treatments happen at night, so it's not in the way of daily field operations, and it's also a pollinator-safe solution. Now, the solution itself is a combination of our 3 pillars of innovation: our specially designed robot platform, which you can see here, our proprietary automation software, which is a combination of the navigation of the robot and also the dosing control, the amount of light that we give the plants, and then also our patent-pending light treatment system, which allows us to project uniform light deep into the crop's canopy to control these pests. It was only by combining all 3 of these innovations were we able to control multiple high-value pests on the farm, and it's exactly the way that we were able to go from trials to paid pilots in our first year on the farm. Now, it's because for farmers, there's a lot of benefits of using light over chemicals. First of all, it's effective with no resistances, no regulatory hurdles, and no disruption to their field operations. It's also 100% natural, which means no chemicals, no hazardous labor, and it's environmentally safe and pollinator safe. Now, of course, it's more profitable, at least 30% more profitable, giving farmers predictable costs from year to year, higher yields, and higher sales margins. Now, we've automated the solution too, so it doesn't require any additional labor on the farm, and for organic farmers, this is the only organically acceptable way of controlling gray mold. Today, they're literally picking this off by hand and throwing it in the dirt. So, of course, there's a lot of benefits for farmers to using our technology, and we're providing it to them as a monthly fee per acre to control these pests. And we provide them a robot as a service. And our service is a single solution that replaces 9 of their existing methods. So we can provide it to them at a cost that's lower than they pay today, and it's easier for them to use. So it's a really big benefit for them to get into this technology. And also, because we have an automation on the farm, this automation provides a whole new aspect of value: remote monitoring. They can get yield estimates, they can get crop health, and while they're at home with their families, they can check to make sure the robot's doing what it's supposed to be doing at night. Now, there's also a lot of farmers who can pay for this. I mean, we said earlier that farmers are spending $84 billion every single year in this fight against pests, and UV light can be used on just about every crop that we grow in the US. But that's a huge market. Let's focus on the first 3 crops where we plan to expand: strawberries, blueberries, and grapes. These 3 crops alone are about 900,000 acres, most of which are grown right here in California. So it's a great market for us to start in, and guess what? They spend $650 million already on mites, mildew, and mold. That's what we can treat with our solution. So this is really just the tip of the iceberg for us, because this technology can go to other crops, and once the automation's on the farm, we can start to capture and give more value to the farmers. Now, in terms of our go-to-market strategy, we started with strawberries. Strawberries are #1 on the Dirty Dozen. More chemicals are used on them than any other fruit or vegetable. And we started even narrower, first with organic, and our go-to-market strategy is then to move into conventional, building a strong customer base as we go, and a network of influencers, including key farmers, crop consultants, and researchers who can help us spread the word about the technology. From there, in parallel, we're going to farming events, like the Cal Poly Field Day that we went to last year. We presented our data and got 10 new farmers signed up for pilots this year. And if we want to grow to these farms, we also know that we have to build partnerships with people who know manufacturing, service, and distribution, which is why we're already doing this with companies like Andros Engineering and Paso Robles. Now, once we dominate the strawberry industry, we'll modify our platform and expand into other crops using the same strawberry growth strategy to increase our obtainable market. And then once the automation's on the farm, this is a big idea here, because we can start to leverage that automation to solve other tasks for the farmer and really grow the value that we have leveraging data. So we're really excited to get this huge opportunity to farmers beyond just the pest treatment. Now, if we look where we started back in 2019, we started bringing automation to the farms, and we realized really quickly that the farmer doesn't care about the robot. It's really about the treatment. So in 2020, we focused on the lights. And in 2021, we really hit the springboard. You can see here by the difference in color that we had amazing validation of this technology on farms. And this is exactly how we were able to go from our pilots to paid pilots in under a year and get these 10 new farmers signed up. Really, we realized that the bottleneck wasn't the customer, it was our ability to scale. So I'm super excited to share this slide. And all I can say is it's about to get bigger. We've partnered with our manufacturer, Andros Engineering, to get a much larger platform that can cover up to 50 acres out on the field. And this is now doing 10 times more acres than we had last season. So we're really in a great position to start growing now. And this is giving us a huge leg up over our competition. If you look on the right-hand side here, the chemicals and organic manufacturers, these are the pesticides that we're replacing. We can replace that for a lower cost than they pay today, and it's more effective. So let's look at our direct competitors, other robotics companies who are focused on putting UVC on farms. Now, we have a huge advantage both on the business side and the technology side with them too. We're first to market right here in California, and we're US-based. These competitors are European-based. They're focused on smaller indoor farms. Also, we're building key relationships. This is a very word-of-mouth industry, agriculture. So we're building these relationships with the influencers that I mentioned earlier. Now, we also have huge technology advantages. I mean huge. Our platform is covering 7 rows and can do up to 50 acres, where our competitors are still on single-row systems. We also have amazing innovation in the UVC ultraviolet light space. Now, this is what's allowing us to control mites, and that gives us 10 times more value than our current competitors are capturing from customers today. So I think a big reason why we were able to get this huge leg up is because we've really spent a lot of time on the farm. Thousands of hours working in the dirt with the farmers. And I would say we do have a highly technical team, but we've been through a lot of startup programming. So we do know a lot of the other aspects of the business and have great mentorship both on the technology and business side. With that said, we're looking to expand our team, bringing in people with agribusiness and sales, and we're currently looking for a COO who's scaled a company like ours. Overall, with our traction and our dedicated team, we're in an excellent position to start to grow. And the biggest constraint for us right now is the CapEx. These robots cost money to put on the farm. But the robots pay themselves off in just a few months, and we've got customers lined up. So we could grow this organically by taking loans each season to start to build our robot fleet. But with that said, we want to grow fast. So we're looking to raise money now so that we can get 3 more robots on the farm in a land and expand strategy. Now, this money will also give us 12 months of runway and help us get our robots to 4 times more profitability. We're also going to grow our team with this money, and it's going to put us in a great position to start building a massive business. And that's what we want to do. We want to build this into a huge business. But right now, the agri-tech space is also extremely hot. We're seeing companies like John Deere spending hundreds of millions of dollars to acquire companies like ours. So this is also something that we're willing to consider in the future. So that's our story. I'm really excited to hear if this is something you're interested in investing in, and please come find me after this if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Good job. Okay, you've seen the 6 pitches. So thank you to all of our finalists for working so hard over the past 6 months. Not only did they survive Pitch Prep Bootcamp, but we also put them through 4 weeks of really intensive due diligence. They worked really hard. We're extremely proud of all of them. So let's just give them all one big last round of applause. Woo! Now that you've seen the startup's pitch, I would like to ask our investors to please follow Liz and myself. I'll be joining you in just a second to the deliberation room located on the right side of the stage. And Madison Crum is going to come right up and walk you through the voting process for the Audience Choice Award. So get your phones out, get ready. And we'll have an update on the GoFundMe campaign. Thank you. Thanks, Madison.
Thank you, Judy. And good luck to our investors who have a very hard decision to make. While our investors deliberate, the Audience Choice Award is now open for voting. Information on how to cast your vote is on the screen and in the handouts you received when you checked in. Reminder that only attendees who registered and provided a unique email address for each individual ticket can vote for the Audience Choice Award. To cast your vote, scan the QR code or visit bit.ly/AngelCon 2022-vote. Enter the email that you used to register for today's event. Click the blue Login to Vote button. Select your favorite startup and save. Once you click Save My Vote, your vote will automatically be counted and you can log out. Voting will remain open for the next 10 minutes, right up until we announce the winner. For those of you joining us virtually, voting links are located below the YouTube event description, and we will also post links in the chat now. Please remember, you can only vote once. After you have voted, head on over and donate to the GoFundMe campaign. Instructions on how to donate are up on the screen and in your handout. This year, we have a special surprise. Central Coast Ventures has generously offered to match whatever is raised tonight in the GoFundMe. Thank you, Central Coast Ventures. Please continue to donate and support these amazing startups. Up next, I would like to invite Peter Wen, CEO and co-founder of Tallyfor, to share their progress after winning AngelCon last year.
Hello, everyone. Wow, it's amazing that a year has passed since Tallyfor won last year. And in the past year, we've been automating for the tax professionals so they can change their dinosaur ways. And we're really having fun doing it. So in the past year, we've gotten some really great traction. We've grown over 300% on revenue, and the professionals have really started to find out that Tallyfor is the answer for tax automation. We've also grown the team to 12 talented individuals, and they're helping build a great product and company. Now, if you've ever been on the hashtag tax Twitter during busy season, you'll find a lot of horror stories and a lot of pain on Twitter. But I checked in with one of our customers this year on March 15th, the corporate tax deadline, and I asked her how it was going, and she said, I have my flip-flops on and I'm ready to go to the beach. So that was on a deadline day, and I actually happened to ask her which beach she was going to, and she said she was going to the beach in Aruba. So she was doing her work from a remote location. And that's now possible with the platform that Tallyfor has built. But that's what we've done this year. There's a lot more. We're just getting started, and we're bringing automation. We're plugging the professionals to an automated infrastructure so they can do their work and be more human. So we're going to be launching additional tools this year to automate a vertical and as well as to bring some automation to tax planning. So that's my update for that. But while those guys are deliberating on that really hard choice of all those innovative companies, I'm going to have a little fun with all of you. And I have three tax questions. And you get to win a prize of a dinosaur. Whoever can answer them first, I have three. And please raise your hand if you know the answer. And actually, looking it up in Google's allowed. So the first question is, which constitutional amendment enacted the income tax? All right, all right. All right, 16, all right. You're a winner of a dinosaur. Come pick it up. I was told not to throw them. All right, the next question is, according to the IRS, how many hours does it take, on average, an individual to complete their tax return? All right. It's actually really a test of how fast you can type. We have, was that 4 over here? 2 hours over there? 6 over there? Wow, you guys are fast. 8.5, okay. So they actually state it takes 13 hours to do a return. So yes, that is a lot of work. Please pick up your, the closest one, I guess, 8.5. So, all right, my final question as the deliberations are going on. Okay, you're welcome. Which country singer wrote the album, the record album, Tax Taped, in an attempt to pay off his tax debt? Oh my gosh, everyone got that one. All right, thank you very much. So that's a little bit fun with tax. You know, I'm very grateful for all the support from AngelCon, and we're building a great company. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Peter. It's so great to see how your company's evolved over the past year and for sharing the impact that AngelCon and the Cal Poly CIE SBDC has had on Tallyfor. You still have 3 more minutes to vote for the Audience Choice Award. So if you have not already, then go ahead and scan the QR code or visit bit.ly/AngelCon2022-vote to cast your votes now. We are still waiting for our investors to return from their deliberation. It's obviously a very difficult decision. We have seen so many wonderful pitches here tonight. And I just wanted to take a brief moment to thank all of you for being here in person and for everyone who is attending virtually. For anyone who would like to make any last-minute donations to the GoFundMe, instructions are on the screen and in your handout as well. We're really trying to build the anticipation here. All right, welcome back, investors. All right, voting for the Audience Choice Award is now closed. Thank you to everyone who voted. Now, Judy, before you announce the winners, we wanted to take a moment to congratulate you for being one of the Pacific Coast Business Times top 50 women in business this year. Unfortunately, the award ceremony was tonight in Santa Barbara, and she had to be here to host AngelCon.
Darn this thing.
But we were able to get the award, and we wanted to recognize and thank her, because without her leadership and vision, AngelCon, the SBDC, and the CIE would not be the same.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Aw, thank you.
So thank you, Judy, for everything you do.
Thank you.
And now the stage is yours to announce tonight's winners.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my gosh, totally unexpected. I was going through the script like, okay, what? Like, what's going on? It's not on the script. So I'm actually trying to find where we're at right now. I'm totally like, okay, I'm lost. Help, Madison. Sorry. So much for.
It's in the way.
Okay. Ah, got it. Okay, okay. No, sit tight. Okay, so, well, now it is my turn to thank all of my staff. They're brilliant. They're amazing. They make this work. Thank you, Liz Fisher, Madison Crum, Lexi Cox, Nicole McAllister, Kristen Meal, and everyone else on the team. Thank you so much. And thank you to Slow Brew The Rock. Thank you for hosting us again this year. Now, please welcome to the stage Matt Allen, representative of our presenting sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everyone. We're at Pacific Premier Bank. We're really happy to be a sponsor and be a partner of AngelCon, and it's fun to watch all these companies come up and just able to see where companies start that eventually become our clients. So we really appreciate that, and you're not here to hear me talk right now. Let's hand out a big check. So.
Woo! Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Matt, and thank you again to Pacific Premier Bank. So up first, we're going to announce the Audience Choice Award, and here to help me from Central Coast Ventures, Stephen Larson, come on up. So another big surprise tonight, Central Coast Ventures is going to is going to match the GoFundMe campaign.
So get your money in.
Okay, so we raised $650, and
so we'll double that
with the match, so we're at $1,300. Woo!
$1,300.
Thank you.
Yep.
We beat last year. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So Stephen, you get to announce the winner.
Drum
roll again.
And the winner is TRIC Robotics.
Woo!
Where's Adam? Come on up. Get your award and your $1,300. But it is still open. We're still raising more money, right?
Yes. So the GoFundMe campaign is open all night. If you want to send more money Adam's way. Please feel free to donate till the end of the night.
Congrats, Adam.
Good job. Okay. Okay. Next up. So this year, as we mentioned, we raised $205,000 in our fund. The investors have decided to distribute this amount into 2 startups tonight. So our event winner will receive $135,000, and an additional investment of $70,000 will be made into another deserving finalist. So let's start with the runner-up. The runner-up and winner of $70,000 is Novocuff. Amy, come on up. Where's Amy? Woo! And Donald. Woo! Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you, Judy.
Good job.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Come on over. Thanks to all the investors and everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
Take this home.
Do they stay? Do they stay on stage? Oh. Okay. Thank you. Congratulations. Another picture?
We're good.
Okay. 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 And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the winner of AngelCon 2022, Acrecloud. Jim. Where is he? Elias, come on up. Woo!
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate this. We appreciate the confidence that the investors have in us. It's amazing because, as you all saw, there are some awesome, awesome companies that competed. So let's give a round of applause for the other companies. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. See, we need our CEO up here to hold the other end of the check. This is so great. This program is amazing. It's an accelerator program just as much as it is a funding competition, and we have nothing but great things to say about Judy and about her staff. We would echo everything she said and multiply it by, 130,000. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. Congratulations.
Actually, I do have a few words. And thank you, Jim, for all the work that you've done to this point. Thank you, Judy, for everything you've done. But I would like to thank the investors because this investment is not only into Acrecloud and what we're trying to solve, but it really puts a spotlight on a community that really needs help at the moment. And that's our farm laborers. They're providing our food. They're there every day, hot, cold, rain, whatever. They're there, and I think this is the start to something great for a community that doesn't get represented enough. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again, Matt. Thank you. Thank you all for attending AngelCon 2022. We appreciate you taking the time to support these amazing entrepreneurs. Huge thank you to our sponsors again, Pacific Premier Bank, Entrada Ventures, Relentless Management, and Ceslock Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much. From all of us here at Cal Poly CIE SBDC, thank you. We look forward to seeing you at next year's event. Any additional information, come talk to us, visit our website. I believe the bar next door is open, so if you'd like to stay, continue to network, please do. Again, thank you so much. We'll see you next year. Oh, yeah.
And then we're all going to put you back up on stage in the professional.
Can we just take it off? Oh.
Please stop.